Jai Jagat everyone. We'll continue our geography class. In the previous class, we had read about the Alpine mountain system. So we'll just quickly recap of what we have done. We had talked that the Alpine mountain system is a series of mountain ranges, and they are young-fold mountains because of which they have got high peaks, steep slope, and deep valleys. These mountain peaks are of volcanic origin, and two mountain peaks, Etna and Vesuvius, which are present, are of volcanic origin. Now, the Alps mountains there, in that the highest peak is Mount Blanc, and Mount Elbrus, which is in the Caucasus Mountains, is the highest peak of Europe. After this today, our last topic for this chapter is, children, rivers and lakes. Now, as you can see in this map, children, Europe has got a number of rivers and a number of lakes. So Europe is rich in rivers and lakes. But the rivers are divided into three parts. The first part, children, here is the western part. Here is the eastern part. And the third one that we have is here in the Scandinavian highlands, which is the Scandinavian rivers. So first we will talk about these western rivers. In the western rivers, a set of few rivers like Rhine, Rhone, then Po here, Po, and this Danube. These four rivers actually form the western rivers. And the eastern rivers consist of the Volga, the Dniester here, the Dnieper here, and the Volga river, which is already here. So these rivers which are there on the eastern side, that is the Volga, Don, Dniester, Dvina, and Dnieper. These four rivers, children, they form the eastern rivers. But when we compare the eastern rivers and the western rivers, we always say that the western rivers are more useful than the eastern rivers. The reason being, children, that these eastern rivers, they freeze during the winter season. So they cannot be used for navigation, whereas these western rivers can be used for navigation throughout the year. So they are more useful than the eastern rivers. Again, I am repeating, the reason being that these eastern rivers, they freeze during the winter season. Then we have rivers here also that are in the Scandinavian highlands. It is Pichora and Misen. These are the two rivers which are present in the Scandinavian highlands, children. And they are, as usual, they are not very useful because they also freeze during the winter season. Okay. After this, we say that all these rivers are short and fast flowing, and they can be used for the generation of hydroelectricity. So these are the features of the rivers present in Europe, children, that they are short and fast flowing and can be used for the generation of hydroelectricity. Now, children, if you see, we'll take up one river at a time. If you see the Volga river, children, Volga, as you can see, is the longest river of Europe. It flows through Russia and drains into the Caspian Sea. Can you see, children? This is the Caspian Sea. It flows through Russia and drains into the Caspian Sea. Then we come to the next river, that is the Danube. Now, children, this is Danube, and it is the second longest river of Europe. And it is the only east-flowing river. We consider Danube as a part of the western river system, but it is the only east-flowing river which is present in Europe. Then we come to Rhine, children. Can you see this river here? This is Rhine. And Rhine, we say that it is the busiest river of Europe. It originates from the Alps and flows into the North Sea. Can you see, children? This is Alp mountains. It originates from here and flows into the North Sea. Then we come to the Rhone river, children. It is here down. We can see the Rhone river. It is the only south flowing river and drains into the Mediterranean Sea. It flows from here, starts from here and drains into the Mediterranean Sea. Now we come to this part, children. Thames is the most important river of England. England is established on river Thames. So it is the most important river of England. So these were the important rivers, children, of Europe. Now we come to the lake. Now, children, during the Ice Age, when large part of the world was covered with ice, and especially the European parts, when they were covered and when they started melting, the glaciers, they started melting, a lot of lakes were formed in the during the Ice Age in Europe. So if you can see here children, Lake Ladoga. Here, Lake Ladoga, it is the largest freshwater lake which is present in Europe, and it is in Russia. Then if you can see here children, parts, this is Finland actually, this is the Finland, and Finland is very popularly known as the land of 1,000 lakes. Now this is a give reason question children. Why is Finland called a land of 1,000 lakes? The reason is because this area, the area of Finland alone has more than 5,000 lakes. So therefore it is known as land of 1,000 lakes. With this children, we finish your chapter of Europe, location and physical features. If you have any queries, you can please put forward on the WhatsApp group. I'll reply it back to you. And this was the end. Next, when we are going to meet children, we are going to start with the political map of India. In that, we are going to learn the states and their capitals. So those of you who have got your atlases with you at home, I'm sure most of you must be having your atlas. So please keep your atlas ready with you for the next class. And along with this session, I'm also attaching a worksheet related to this topic of lakes and rivers. I hope you people are going to do the worksheet and send us back your pictures. Thank you.